Wow, Crocs are awesome.
Hey, what's up everyone? Connor here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today, I wanted to tell you all a story about a really famous Asian American that was really influential during their time. I think growing up, I never really had that many stories to look up to. The only famous Asian people I knew were Jackie Chan, Jet Li, so on and so forth. So I think it was really important for me to learn about these stories, and I thought it'd be fun to share them all with you. And what better way to learn about Asian American history and culture than to do so while eating some spicy ass noodles. So today I have a pack of Buldak spicy chicken ramen. Full disclosure, we tried this out before, and we had like the normal Buldak spicy chicken noodles, which apparently were really spicy, but when I ate them, it wasn't that bad. So we went to the store and bought the 2 times Buldak spicy chicken ramen. So apparently these are extremely spicy, and so we'll see how they end up today. Let's go cook them, and we'll come right back. And we're back. Okay, so we just cooked up a nice spicy bowl of Buldak nuclear fire noodles ×2. These are the spiciest noodles that we could find at the supermarket. Yeah, I think they're gonna be real spicy. Yeah, there's nothing else to say but to try them out. Look at that goodness. It smells delicious. It smells so good. Yeah, let's try it out. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's way spicier. That's way spicier than the last one we got. That is insane. That is way this is way spicier than the normal Buldak spicy nuclear noodles. I did not think that these were going to be that spicy because we ate the last ones and they weren't that bad. Okay, so the story that I wanted to talk to you about today is about this guy named Sessue Hayakawa. He is an amazingly famous silent film star in the 1910s and the 1920s. He was Japanese American, and his fame in the silent film era rivaled that of Charlie Chaplin's. I mean, this guy in the yearly salary earns at his peak about $2 million, which in today's standards is close to $51 million a year. Sessue was not just known for being a really famous silent film actor, but was also known as and given credit for being like one of the first real sex symbols of the big screen. Yeah, he was typically cast as like the forbidden love interest or the dominant villain, and played roles alongside and counterpart to some of the most famous women silent actors of his age. Sessue's fan base mostly consisted of white women. His rise to fame really coincided with the popularity of matinee theaters that would fill up full of women to go pay money to see this Japanese American man on the big screen as their love interest, as their celebrity crush. Someone that I've never again heard of before. Unfortunately, due to anti-miscegenation laws, Sessue Hayakawa in his movies was never able to like get the girl, but he was always that like kind of forbidden love interest. Played a lot of roles that included interracial relationships and interracial couples, and even interracial marriages. Come later on in his career, there was a bit of a lull in his acting career during World War II, but he was actually an active member in the French Resistance at the time. He actually had a return to the big screen for David Lean's Bridge on the River Kwai. This movie, Bridge on the River Kwai, ended up going to win 7 Academy Awards and even getting him nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Sessue Hayakawa goes down in history for being the first Asian American in history to be even nominated for an Academy Award. Let's just go back to the beginning of the story for a little bit, because this Japanese American man
they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, and you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
This is happening all in the wake of the 1875 Page Act. You know, quick sidebar for those of you who don't know. In 1875, the Page Act effectively banned all immigration to the U.S. for single Chinese women, East Asian women in general, but specifically Chinese women. Because in the words of some influential white man, they were the prostitutes of the basest order who would come to the US and corrupt our young white boys. And this meant that a lot of the first migrants that came to the US, mostly Chinese, were almost all men. They were brought here to the US to build the Western levees, the infrastructure, the intercontinental railroad that really set up the US for its success in developing the West. Because they were mostly men and none of the women were able to be brought over, most of these men ended up living together because they weren't able to have families. Oh, my mouth is burning. My mouth is on fire. I really need to finish these noodles though. Most of these men, again, had to live together because they weren't able to have families. And thanks to anti-miscegenation laws, again, they weren't able to have relationships or marry outside of their own racial identity. So they were kind of stuck in this limbo, essentially legislated to be single, to be alone. This caused later generations of Asian men to be forced into what was so-called women's work, into cleaning clothes, being domestic servants, being cooks. Even though the first Chinese migrants to the US were manly manual laborers, these later generations were essentially legislated to be emasculated, to become less manly. The Page Act is really credited for being the kickstart and the first real piece of legislation that had an impact on the way that Asian American men specifically were seen in terms of their sexuality. Even in the wake of all that, Sessue Hayakawa, this Japanese American man, in the aftermath of this legislation that was actually meant to dehumanize us and to desexualize us, was known as this sex symbol. The story is important to me because I grew up with this narrative that history has always been written against my sexuality, that Asian men have never been seen as romantic. And, if I didn't know Kung Fu or wasn't as manly or as strong as Jackie Chan or Jet Li or Bruce Lee, then I didn't have anything to offer. If I knew about Sessue's story a little bit earlier, I would have maybe grown up thinking that I could be sexy, that people could see me as attractive or wanted, and maybe redefine or kind of change the way that I see myself as an Asian American and what it means to be Asian. I think that's a really important story to know. These noodles are really hot. All right, one last bite. If I could put in the effort to finish that bowl of noodles, you can put in the effort to remember that story and share it with someone else. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Thanks again for watching my video. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you liked learning about Sessue Hayakawa, and let me know down in the comments if there are any other stories that you'd like to hear about in the future. Don't forget to follow me on all social media. All the links will be down in the description below. Check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/kilogramgaming, the link for which will be right down below as well. Follow me over there to know whenever I'm going live. Have a good one.